Hello everyone, welcome to the Chemical Safety Technology course. I am your instructor, Suo Yanbo. In this lesson, we will explore the characteristics of chemical production and safety. Suo Yanbo is a senior engineer, registered safety engineer, associate, professor, senior technician in chemical process control and chemical testing, and an assessor for chemical process control technicians. Since beginning his teaching career, he has taught courses such as chemical safety technology, chemical unit operations, and chemical equipment. I have published numerous papers and hold one authorized patent. I have received honors, including Top 10 Chief Technicians of Binzhou City, Bohai Craftsman, Bohai Talent Card, Shandong, Huike Card, Technical Expert of Shandong's Chemical Industry, Outstanding Young Professional of Shandong Province, Work Safety Expert of Shandong's Chlor-Alkali Industry, Qilu, Chief Technician, National Outstanding Young Professional and Expert in the China Chemical Safety Association, Association's Expert Database. To learn about chemical safety technology, we must first begin by understanding the chemical industry. In this class, we will cover two main topics: the characteristics of chemical production and the importance of safety in chemical production. First, let us define the chemical industry. It is an industry that employs chemical methods to manufacture products. As a pillar of the national economy, the chemical industry is closely linked to sectors such as agriculture, light industry, textiles, food materials, construction, and national defense. Its products have permeated and will continue to permeate every sector of the national economy. Chemical production processes consist of an organic combination of chemical reactions and various physical operations. Raw materials pass sequentially through several pieces of equipment or groups of equipment in each process flow, undergoing various treatments before being transformed into finished products. Overall, chemical production exhibits the following four characteristics. The first characteristic is that chemical production involves a large number of hazardous materials. The types of raw materials, semi-finished products, and finished products used in chemical production are numerous, and the vast majority are flammable, explosive, toxic, or corrosive hazardous chemicals. Consequently, the storage and transportation of these raw materials, fuels, intermediate products, and finished products during the production process require special precautions. The second characteristic of chemical production is the demanding process conditions required. Some chemical reactions occur under high temperature and high pressure, while others must take place at low temperatures and high vacuum levels. For example, in the process of producing polyethylene by cracking light diesel into ethylene, the cracking temperature of light diesel in the cracking furnace is 800 degrees Celsius, and the separation of the cracked gas must be carried out under cryogenic conditions of minus 96 degrees Celsius. Ethylene gas, with a purity of 99.99%, is polymerized at a pressure of 294 megapascals to produce polyethylene resin. The third characteristic of chemical production is the trend toward large-scale operations. In recent decades, the use of large-scale production facilities has become a clear trend in the global chemical industry. Taking ethylene production as an example, the production capacity of ethylene plants has grown from 100,000 metric tons per year in the 1950s to 600,000 metric tons per year in the 1970s. Currently, the largest single-unit plants can reach a capacity of 1.5 million metric tons per year. For instance, in January 2020, Henli Petrochemical S 1.5 million ton per year ethylene plant began operations at the Dalian Changsheng Island Industrial Park. The use of large-scale facilities can significantly reduce construction, investment, and production costs per unit of product, thereby helping to improve labor productivity. Consequently, countries around the world are actively developing large-scale chemical production facilities. Of course, this does not mean that larger chemical plants are always better. It involves a question of comprehensive technical and economic benefits. The fourth characteristic of chemical production is the increasing sophistication of production methods. Modern chemical enterprises have transitioned from manual operations and batch production to highly automated, continuous production. Equipment has shifted from open-top to closed-loop systems, and production facilities have moved from indoor to outdoor settings. Production control has evolved from decentralized to centralized management, and operations have progressed from manual control and on-site monitoring to computer-based remote monitoring and control. China's petroleum and chemical industry has achieved successive breakthroughs in promoting digital transformation and intelligent development, with a series of application outcomes in new technologies such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, the industrial internet, and 5G generation continuously being implemented. Next, let us examine the role of safety in chemical production. Based on the above analysis of the characteristics of chemical production, we can see that compared to other industries, chemical production involves more potential safety hazards and poses greater risks and dangers. Now, let us watch two accident videos. Video 1. The November the 28th major deflagration accident at Shenghua Chemical Company Limited, a subsidiary of China National Chemical Corporation in Zhangjiakou City, Hebei Province. At approximately 12:40 a.m. on November the 28th, 2018, a deflagration accident occurred near Hebei Shenghua Chemical Company Limited in Chaodong District, Zhangjiakou City, Hebei Province. The accident resulted in 24 deaths and 21 injuries. Accident 2. This harrowing scene of devastation shows the ecological chemical industrial park in Xiangshui County, Yangcheng City, Jiangsu Province, following the explosion. At approximately 2:48 p.m. on March the 21st, 2019, a violent explosion suddenly erupted from a warehouse at Tianjiyi Chemical Company Limited, instantly creating a crater approximately 120 meters in diameter at the epicenter. Nearly all ground-level structures within a 300-meter radius were destroyed, and many buildings within a 5-kilometer radius sustained varying degrees of damage from the blast wave. The accident caused direct economic losses of 1.986 billion yuan, but the irreparable loss was the loss of human life and property. 78 people were killed, 76 were seriously injured, 640 were hospitalized, and 22,046 households suffered property damage. The peaceful lives of many families were shattered in an instant. The above represents a typical chemical accident that has occurred in China in recent years. We can see that chemical production safety has become a social issue. Once a fire or explosion occurs, it not only leads to production stoppages and equipment damage, but also causes massive casualties, resulting in incalculable losses and significant social repercussions. As the world's largest chemical producer, China has 210,000 enterprises engaged in the production and operation of hazardous chemicals, involving more than 2,800 types. Chemical production safety plays a vital role in the national economy and social development. Workplace safety is closely tied to the well-being of the people. General Secretary Xi Jinping called for the establishment of a safety-oriented development philosophy, advocating the principle of safety first, life above all, and resolutely curbing major and particularly serious safety accidents. He emphasized that development must never come at the cost of human lives, stressing that this must be treated as an absolute red line that cannot be crossed. Therefore, as professionals in the chemical industry, we must firmly establish the mindset that life is paramount and safety comes first, and effectively implement the concept of safe development in chemical production. We must make risk prevention and safety assurance a shared consciousness and responsibility among all of us in the chemical industry, and turn it into a conscious behavioral habit for each and every one of us. In this session, we have studied the characteristics of chemical production and understood the critical importance of safety in this field. We are required to embrace the concept of safe development, strengthen our awareness of this red line, fulfill our safety responsibilities, and promote safe development. That concludes this session. After class, please reflect on 2 questions. What are the characteristics of chemical production, and how do we recognize the importance of safety in chemical production? Alright, that concludes this session. See you in the next class.